Michigan got caught red-handed. By the way, it was confirmed that Connor Stalions was on Central Michigan sidelines in disguise to scout Michigan State. So that's a real thing. That wasn't just a meme. That was truly, definitely, actually him. But Michigan did it. And the difference to me between this and other NCAA investigations of the past is there is a widespread moral objection to what Michigan did. Like when Ohio State's players sold their rings for some cash and tattoos. Some people thought, that was the cover of Sports Illustrated. Big scandal at Ohio State. But a lot of people were like, it was their rings. Why should we care that they sold them for money?
What rings? It was the gold pants.
The gold, but they sold bowl rings and stuff like that too.
Sure.
Reggie Bush. So some booster bought Reggie Bush's family a condo. This is America. You should be able to give people money for something if you want to. And turns out judges all over the country agree with that. That's why players are getting paid now. There was a gray area with other NCAA scandals because people thought that players should be getting paid. Why are you punishing them for that? It's ridiculous. There is a widespread agreement on when you cheat the game in the way Michigan cheated, it's wrong. And they got caught red-handed. And maybe it didn't change the outcome of games, but there's a chance that it did. And if there's a chance that it did, the season should be void. It should have happened last year. They shouldn't have been allowed to participate in the postseason last year. But they had an espionage, spying operation that was, if you have a functioning brain, despite what Jim Harbaugh said today, the coaching staff knew about and at least allowed to happen, if not endorsed. You see the videos of him relaying the signals to the coordinators. They all knew. They cheated. They got caught. Title should be void. If we're taking away games and championships for player gets paid, this should also fall into that category.
Hey, Dad, any thoughts?
I agree, but nothing's going to happen.
That's kind of where I am.
It's just not going to happen. They're never going to sit there and put one of the sacred. Look, I'll be honest with you. Now, if this was Kansas State or South Florida or something like that, they would get hammered, absolutely hammered. But it's Michigan. They're not going to do it.
Borky, I do agree with what you're saying, though, about there is a difference between cheating in recruiting and cheating on the field. And not just cheating on the field, but having a coordinated plan for how to give yourself an unfair advantage by stealing your opponent's signs in advance of playing them. We talked about it when this happened a couple of years ago or a year ago, whenever the story came out. Part of the game of baseball is, do you have a relief pitcher who's really good hanging out on the bench that can steal signs from the third base coach or from the opposing dugout? That's part of the game. But you're not sending a scout to another team's game disguised in advance when they're playing somebody else to try and pick up their signs and then relay them in real time when you play that opponent to your coaches and players to try and give them an advantage.
I have to know how Connor Stalions got on the Central Michigan sideline.
I
have to know
important.
the answer to that.
Should Central Michigan be in trouble?
Well, that's the only thing I can think that makes sense, right? Either A, he stole someone's credential, or not stole, somebody gave him a credential, and nobody checked to see if it was actually him, or B, did Central Michigan get something out of this? Did they get some money? Because that would make sense, right? That somebody at Michigan reached out to somebody at Central Michigan, was like, look, if you can make this happen for us, we can find $150,000, $200,000 to send to you, under the table, whatever.
Considering his Venmo was unlocked for a period of time and there were payments directed to some of his employees, I don't know what you call the guys that worked under Stalions that he sent to the stadiums all over the country, but he paid for those services elsewhere. almost 60 confirmed games that they scouted, quote unquote, illegally.
Yeah. Somebody says, is it illegal or against the rules? No, it is not illegal in the sense that a police officer is going to arrest you for violating the law. But this was an against the rules ploy that Michigan was using to try to gain an advantage on the field against its